My brother told everyone I left the business on my own. The truth is, he pushed me out. I watched them through the window like a damn ghost. Standing in the parking lot where I used to unlock the gates every morning at 6:45 sharp, keys in hand, coffee in a thermos, hoodie half-zipped. But tonight? There's music coming from inside, bass thumping, glasses clinking, people laughing, toasting, posing for pictures. There are string lights where I used to hang socket wrenches. They were throwing some kind of launch party. I wasn't invited. Hell, no one even told me it was happening. But it was my shop. Or at least it used to be. I saw my brother Josh through the glass, raising a champagne flute, his other hand resting on the shoulder of some guy in a too-tight suit. Probably another investor. Josh always knew how to look polished when it counted. Clean cut, loud laugh, expensive shoes that never touched oil stains. Meanwhile, I was the one in the pit, covered in grease, doing the actual work. We were a team. I thought we were a team. I stood there in the cold, watching him hold court in the place we built together. The same place Dad left to both of us. The same place I gave 10 years of my life to, every damn day. Now it had a new name. Some trendy, soulless bullshit. Rev House. They replaced the red letters we'd painted by hand. They replaced me. 2 years ago, I was co-owner of what used to be Mitchell Auto and Body. A small, dependable shop in the suburbs outside Columbus. My dad started it in the 80s, worked himself into 2 hernias to keep it afloat. He used to joke that the smell of brake fluid was his cologne. When he got sick, liver failure, slow and ugly, he made us promise we'd keep it going. Together. Josh and I shook on it at his bedside. That was the last thing we ever truly agreed on. I didn't know then that my brother had different ideas. That keeping it going, to him meant gutting everything we stood for and turning the business into a slick, investor-funded Frankenstein. Or that less than a year after Dad's funeral, I'd be boxed out with a handshake and a silent shrug. No one really believes me when I say it happened fast. But that's how betrayal works. It sneaks up like a leak in the foundation, quiet, slow, and deadly. One day you're arguing over whether to bring in a new tire supplier, and the next you're staring at legal papers saying you've been bought out, even though you never agreed to sell. Josh made sure all the paperwork looked clean. I was stupid. Trusted him. I didn't read every line, didn't get my own lawyer. I thought, why would I need to? He's my brother. We were building something for the family. I didn't even get a severance. Just a check I didn't ask for and a final email from our shared accountant saying I was no longer a partner. That was it. A decade of my life, erased with a PDF. I didn't tell anyone for a long time. Not my friends. Not my mom. I was too ashamed. I still remember the day I packed up my tools, paid for with overtime and calloused hands, and walked out the back door because I didn't want the customers to see me. Josh didn't even say goodbye. And now here I was. 2 years later, standing in the parking lot like some washed-up ex, watching him pop champagne under string lights, pretending this all belonged to him from the start. I should have walked away. I should have turned around and left. But instead, I stepped closer to the window, just close enough to see the plaque near the entrance. Established 2023. Josh Mitchell, founder. That was the moment something in me cracked. Not rage. Not even grief. Just this cold, dead clarity. He really thinks he built this. I used to think loyalty was the same thing as love. That if you stuck by someone long enough, through enough shit, it meant something. Especially if that someone shared your blood. Josh is 3 years older than me. Growing up, everyone loved him. Teachers, neighbors, girls at church, even Dad, though he never said it out loud. Josh could talk his way out of anything, charm his way into everything. I was the opposite, quiet, serious, always trying to prove I wasn't just the other Mitchell boy. But we worked well together. I liked engines, grease under my nails, the buzz of doing something real. Josh liked people. He'd shake hands, upsell, crack jokes with the old guys who came in for oil changes. We made a good team. For a while anyway. I remember when Dad started bringing us to the shop. I was maybe 10. Josh was already sanding down bumpers like he was born to it. I'd sit and watch, mimicking his every move. Dad would walk by, nod, and say, "Mitchell hands, these boys'll keep this place running long after I'm gone." I believed him. We both did. After high school, I didn't even think about college. Josh went for 2 years, dropped out, came back with ideas. "We need branding," he said. "A real name, a real image." I didn't care as long as we fixed cars. I stayed in the garage. He worked the counter. Over time, Dad stepped back. His liver was already failing, though none of us wanted to admit it. I started doing more of the scheduling, ordering, bookkeeping. Josh was always meeting with vendors, planning growth. We had different visions, but I thought that was normal. Every duo has friction, right? Then Dad got really bad. Hospice came. I remember sitting with him late one night, the TV on low, and he said, "You and your brother, keep this place together, alright? Don't let business tear you apart." I nodded. I meant it. At the time, I think Josh did too. After the funeral, everything moved too fast. Josh suggested bringing in a consultant, his friend Chris, who knew the business side. I didn't love the idea, but I was exhausted, grieving. I signed things I didn't fully understand. "Just restructuring," Josh said. "Trust me." That was the phrase he kept using. Trust me. I did. Until the day I walked into the office and the password to our shared QuickBooks didn't work. Until I checked the LLC paperwork and saw my name was no longer on it. Until Chris stopped returning my calls. Until I stood in front of my brother, holding the printout and shaking hands, and asked, "What the hell is this?" And he said, without flinching, "It's business, man. You didn't want to grow." I did. That's when I realized something. Josh didn't steal the shop because he needed it. He took it because he knew I never would. I would have kept it small, kept it honest, kept it ours. That wasn't enough for him. He wanted shiny, flashy, profitable. And he didn't care if I was in the way. The worst part wasn't losing the shop. It was watching everyone pretend like I just walked away. Like I got tired, or bored, or decided to take a break. Josh never told the full story. Of course he didn't. He told people I was burned out, that I needed space, that I was thinking about other ventures. Like I was some tech bro pivoting to crypto. And the sick part? People believed him. Longtime customers, guys I worked next to for years, friends of Dad's, none of them called. No one asked if I was okay. They just moved on. Like I never mattered in the first place. The silence felt worse than any betrayal. Josh kept the house too. Technically it was Dad's, then ours. After everything, I didn't fight for it. I moved out within a week. Packed my things in the middle of the night so I wouldn't have to see anyone. Rented a shitty one-bedroom off the freeway. I slept on a futon and ate canned soup for the first 2 months. Couldn't get work, not real work. Who wants to hire the guy who got fired from his own family's business? People don't understand nuance. They hear, "He's not with the shop anymore," and assume it means you fucked up. I drove for DoorDash. Tried to stay invisible. Some nights I'd see stickers from our old shop on people's bumpers while I handed them tacos. I remember once delivering to a guy in a Mitchell Auto hoodie, my hoodie, the one I'd left behind. He didn't recognize me. I didn't say anything. I just stood there like a ghost again. You start to believe the lie after a while. That maybe you were the problem. That maybe you really were too stubborn, too slow, too quiet. Josh's voice, so confident, so certain, echoed in my head for months. You never saw the bigger picture. Maybe I didn't. But I saw what mattered. I saw our dad in every bolt and stain and smudge of grease. I saw life. Not a product. But nobody wanted to hear that. My mom didn't call. Not once. I don't know if she knew the truth or just didn't want to pick sides. Maybe that was her picking a side. Either way, I stopped hoping. Some days I'd sit on the edge of my bed wondering what the hell I was even doing. Everything I was, my work, my pride, my name, was tied to that place. Without it, I didn't know who I was. I tried therapy. Didn't stick. The guy kept asking me about my feelings, and I didn't have the words. I wasn't sad. I wasn't angry. I was just empty. I stopped picking up calls. Didn't return messages. Eventually, even the few friends I had left gave up. Can't blame them. I didn't want company. I didn't want to talk. I just wanted it all to stop hurting. But it didn't. It just got quieter. And that's somehow worse. It took almost a year before I stopped dreaming about the shop. I used to wake up in a sweat, convinced I was late for a morning shift, that Josh would be pissed, that Dad was waiting in the office with that silent, disappointed look. But it was always just me, in that one-bedroom cave, blinds half closed, fan humming like a soft apology. I kept myself on autopilot. Wake up. Deliver food. Eat something microwaved. Scroll on my phone until I couldn't feel anything. Sleep. Repeat. One night I saw an ad online. A video, professionally shot, slow-motion footage of the new and improved Rev House. I almost didn't recognize it. Sleek black tiles, polished glass walls, a neon-lit reception desk. They had a F***King espresso bar. I laughed. Out loud. Alone. There was Josh, front and center in the video, smiling like a damn politician, talking about legacy, and innovation, and respecting our roots. That's what got me, the word. Roots. What did he know about roots? Roots don't rip out the person who planted them. I watched the video 3 times. Then I turned off my phone and didn't look at it for 2 days. Around that time, I started running into familiar faces. A guy named Leo the first hadn't seen in years. He used to do inspections with us. Ran into him at a gas station. He looked surprised to see me. "Man, you disappeared," he said. "Josh said you were working on something big?" I just nodded. What was the point? A week later, another old client messaged me on Facebook. Said he'd taken his car to Rev House and something didn't sit right. They upsold him stuff he didn't need, made him wait 2 weeks, and then tried to charge him double. He asked if I still worked on cars. I hadn't touched an engine in over a year. But I told him yes. He brought it over to my place. I fixed his brakes with a borrowed jack and half-rusted tools from a pawn shop. He paid me in cash and brought me a 6-pack. "It's good to have someone honest," he said. Honest. That word stuck with me. I didn't feel honest. I felt like a coward. But I also felt something I hadn't in months: useful. A few weeks later, a second guy came by. Then a third. I started clearing out space in the apartment's carport. Bought a real jack. Got a portable light. Ordered parts again. Just small jobs, brakes, rotors, oil changes. But people came. No flyers. No ads. Just word of mouth. And slowly, I started to come back to life. My hands remembered what they were good at. My back ached in a familiar, almost welcome way. I still didn't know what I was building. But I knew one thing: I wasn't done yet. By the end of that summer, I was working full days again, under the carport, in the heat, sweating through shirts and wiping oil off my arms with old t-shirts I used to sleep in. It wasn't glamorous. I didn't have a name, or a business license yet, or even a working air compressor. But I had people. People who waited for me. People who left tips and crumpled bills and sent their neighbors my way. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel small. I didn't feel like an afterthought. I was still driving for DoorDash to cover rent, but more and more of my time went into the work I actually cared about. Fixing things. Building trust again. Then I got a message. From Nina. I hadn't seen her in 3 years. She used to be one of our regular clients back at the old shop, drove a silver Tacoma, and always brought her dog with her. Back then, I think she had a thing for Josh. They flirted a lot. I didn't take it personally. Josh was the one everyone liked. The face, the laugh, the energy. I was just the guy who fixed the truck. But now she was texting me. "Hey, I heard you're working on cars again. Think you could look at mine?" She showed up on a Tuesday morning. Same truck, same dog. Only this time, she wasn't all smiles. "Rev House is a mess," she said while I worked. "They tried to charge me $600 for pads and rotors. I walked out. I kept quiet. She looked at me. I don't get how you're not part of it anymore. I didn't answer. She kept coming back. Not just with her truck, but with questions. One night she brought burgers and stayed while I finished someone else's alternator. We sat on the curb eating greasy food with our feet in the dust. You know, she said, you were always the real one. I didn't know how to respond to that. I think she knew. She didn't push. She just stayed. I didn't realize how much I needed that. Someone seeing me. Someone not asking for an explanation, but choosing my side anyway. A few weeks later, I heard a rumor. Rev House was planning a new investor event. Big press, slick invitations, a crowd full of money and cameras. It was happening at the shop, my shop, the one with my name buried in the concrete behind the front desk. The thought made me nauseous. I told myself I wasn't going. What would be the point? But the night of the event, I found myself driving by. Slow. Windows down. I saw the lights first. Then the crowd. Then Josh. Smiling, always smiling. He had no idea I was there. I parked a block away and walked. Didn't plan to. Didn't think it through. I just wanted to see it. Wanted to stand on that pavement one more time. So I did. Same spot. Outside the glass. Watching him live my old life. But something had changed this time. I didn't feel small. I didn't feel broken. I felt steady. I didn't belong inside that party. But I wasn't a ghost anymore either. A week after the investor party, I got a call from an unknown number. Normally I wouldn't answer, but something made me pick up. Hey, the voice said. Is this the real Mitchell? I paused. Depends who's asking. The guy laughed. Name's Travis. Friend of Leo's. He says you're the only mechanic in town who doesn't treat people like walking wallets. I fixed his Subaru in the driveway 2 days later. He brought his brother next. Then his girlfriend. Word started spreading fast. I got a website together. Nothing fancy, just some photos, a price list, a contact form. I didn't even name it anything big. Just Mitchell Garage. Simple. Honest. A couple local Facebook groups picked it up. Then a mom blogger. Then, somehow, a TikTok. Someone had filmed me working under a truck while their kid narrated. This is Max. He's fixing my dad's car because the other place was mean. It blew up. I didn't ask for any of it, but I also didn't run from it. I leaned in. Started recording quick clips. How to know your mechanic's lying, what overpriced service shops won't tell you, 3 things you can check yourself. I never showed my face. Just my hands, my tools, my voice. I wasn't trying to be famous. I just wanted to tell the truth. And somehow, that truth started growing legs. Within 3 months, I had to rent a bigger space. Nothing massive, just an old 2-bay place near the edge of town, the kind with cracked concrete and a leaky roof. But it was mine. Paid with my own money. Signed with my own name. Nina helped paint the front sign. I bought a little coffee machine. Not for show, for people waiting, regulars who dropped in just to say hey. The first time someone brought their kid and said, "This is Max, he's the guy who saved our minivan." I had to turn around so they wouldn't see my face. I wasn't just back. I was home. I was building something again, not like before, not built on blood ties and blind trust, but on honesty. On effort. On people who saw value in what I could do, not who I was related to. Josh didn't know yet. He had no idea. But it was coming. It happened on a Tuesday. The sky was that heavy Midwest gray, the kind that makes everything feel like it's under a wet towel. I was replacing brake lines on an old Ford when I heard the door chime. I wiped my hands, stepped into the front, and there he was, Josh. Same hair, same watch, same. I owned the room. Stance. But something was off. His shirt was wrinkled. His eyes had that dull, tired look. "Max," he said, like it was casual. Like we'd just seen each other last week. I didn't say anything. I just waited. He glanced around. "This place is nice." I almost laughed. It smelled like rubber and burnt coffee, and the front desk was a folding table. "What do you want?" I asked. He looked down, then back up. "Rev House isn't doing so great." I raised an eyebrow. "No kidding." He nodded slowly. "We expanded too fast. Took on the wrong investors. It got messy." I didn't say a word. Just let him keep going. I lost a lot. Staff quit. Clients walked. It's not what I wanted. That last part almost got me. Almost. But I remembered every piece of paper I signed. Every call he ignored. Every night I stared at my ceiling wondering what I did wrong. "So why are you here?" I asked. He shifted. "I thought maybe we could start something together." Again. I stared at him. Not in anger. Just disbelief. "You want me to help you rebuild the place you stole from me?" It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that. I stepped closer. "You didn't just take a shop, Josh. You took 10 years of my life. You took Dad's name and turned it into a brand pitch." His mouth opened. Closed. "I didn't know how to do it alone," he finally said. "You always did the work. I thought I could figure it out." That was the first honest thing he'd said in years. I let it hang in the air. Then I looked him dead in the eye. "I did figure it out. Alone. And I'm not doing it with you now that you're out of options." He stood there, breathing shallow. "I'm your brother." "No," I said. "You were." He didn't say anything else. Just nodded, turned, and walked out the door. The chime rang behind him. And just like that, the chapter closed. I didn't feel triumph. I didn't feel revenge. I felt free. A month after Josh walked out, I hosted a small cookout behind the shop. Nothing fancy, just burgers, chips, a cooler full of drinks, and a bunch of folding chairs. Clients came. Friends. Even a couple of guys I used to work with years ago, the ones who did reach out after all this blew up online. Nina brought potato salad and made fun of my grilling skills. Someone brought an old photo of me and Dad standing in front of the original shop, both of us squinting in the sun, grease on our hands. I hadn't seen it in years. I framed it the next day. It hangs near the front counter now. I get up every morning before the sun, unlock the gate, start the coffee. The shop isn't big. It doesn't have investors. There's no launch party, no champagne. But I built this. From scratch. With nothing but my name, my hands, and the people who believed in me. And you know what? That's enough. People ask me sometimes if I'll ever reconcile with Josh. If we'll fix it. I tell them I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. But what I do know is this. I'm no longer chasing the version of my life he tried to sell me. I don't want the spotlight. I don't want the stage. I just want to show up, do good work, and go home at night knowing I didn't become what he became. I used to think success meant proving him wrong. Now I know better. Success is waking up and not carrying the weight of someone else's lies on your back. It's peace. It's quiet. It's grease under your fingernails and someone saying, "Thanks, Max, this runs better than it has in years." It's my dad's old hat on the wall. Nina's laugh from the office. Music playing low on the radio. It's mine. All of it. And no one gets to take it from me again. Subscribe, hit the like button, and explore more fascinating stories.